Daisy chains and sweet champagne, and 2 days alone with you. Not too far from the city by car, or maybe we can make a more romantic trip by train to the country. It's where I want to be with you for the week.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's almost 10 o'clock. Wednesday. Today's 29th, 30th, something like that. Before the 4th. This weekend's the 4th of July. And it's going to be a hot one. Got rain coming in tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Our garden needs it bad. It's really dry. And so I'm out here working. T is up at the local farmer's market trying to convert some of the things we produce here on our homestead into currency units so that we can get things that we need. And I am here, and I think if I got my numbers right, I think I am on part 14. It's slow going because there's a lot of hand work. I'm still working on the, let's take a look here, on the zombie stompers, or the apple stompers, or the whatever you want to call these bad little dudes. And I got most of the, let's see, turn this around, maybe get some better sunlight on that, better light. And what I've been doing this morning is I'm preparing to do the round over on everything. I still got to finish shaping this. I'm not quite there. So I've got the shape. I rounded that very nicely. And now I've got to put the hole in so we can put like a lanyard on there or hang it or whatever we're going to do. Used to be I'd put a little bolt on the leg there and it would hang right on the leg. It was a pretty good way to do that. I don't know. We'll think about how we do that this time. But anyway, I got the first holes dug and drilled. I dug it out. All right, give me a spoon. Oh my goodness, the heat, I'm telling you, it's hot, and so it's slow going on this, but trying to get them looking good. So I've gone ahead and been stepping up the hole so I can try and keep it centered in there, because it needs to look neat. And then I'm going to finish it off with that 1/2-inch bit. Now the reason I'm going to do that 1/2-inch bit is because that bearing right there is 1/2 inches in diameter, and I want to be able to put that down over top of the router to round it off here, and then I also have to round off all of these edges. And I'm going to do it with 2 different size router round over bits. Router, round over. Let's see. I've got this dude over here. So that's a 1/2 inch radius. That's a 1/4 inch. That might be, yeah, it's a 1/2 inch radius. I think that's a little less than that. 3/8 maybe. 3/8. And I got the other one over here. Oh shucks. Hold on. Throw it across the floor. This one, maybe this is the one I will. Boy, I can't hold on to anything, can I? This is the one I think I'll use for the inside hole there. Smooth it out, round it off. It'll be nice. So today, hopefully I get these around. Jeez, I'm gonna knock everything everywhere. Get these finished up. I also have the press plates. I need to round the corners on those and make those nice and smooth. And if I can get those finished here, sanded down and cleaned up really nicely, the next step will be to start running out slats for the lower press barrels that will go there. So anyway, I took some time this morning to do a cleanup, try and keep what I got in the way of a working shop here clean until I get this thing finished one of these days. Anyway, that's where we're at. I think this is part 14. I think I misspoke in the last last section I said, oh, we did 12, and I think this is 12. The heat gets to you. Anyway, there you go. Let me go ahead and move forward with this, and we'll see some of these next steps done to make these parts and pieces. We'll be back with you in just a sec. Okie dokie, my friends. It is after lunch. I got my helper back from market. She's back from market, and while she was there and up until then, let's get it over here in the light where I can see it here. That is a well-rounded paddle. A well-rounded zombie stomper. Ain't not perfect. I could spend lots of time on it, just sanding it, and which I did. I said, where's it? Piece of sandpaper right there, and got most of the stuff off of it, but you can see a lot of work involved in that little dude right there. Yes, it is. So with the exception of getting them cleaned, and I have made the executive decision to go ahead and poly them. So that's what T's going to do. So we got our poly over here, and so she's going to poly them up, all 5 of them, so I don't have to make more later. So I'm going to move on to putting a round end on that and on those. So each edge needs to get rounded, and I'm going to round both of those over, and then I'm going to take and sand off any little burrs and stuff on there. Oh my goodness, it's hot out here. That is hot. It is stupid hot. So we went in and we dried off just to come out here and
sweat again.
Sweat again. So all right, so we're gonna get those done, and I'm gonna do that, and then she's gonna poly both of them. I think we will go ahead and give it a good potacolly. Yeah, I'm gonna get. The heat's getting to us. Alright, so that's our next step. We'll catch back with you when those things are all pretty and shiny. And then hopefully, I still have enough sun left on the panel. No, I probably got to run the generator for the table saw.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got to make a bunch of slats for our barrels. We'll get to that in here in just a minute. Alright, quick update. We've gotten... What did you do with them? Oh, they're over here. So I got these all rounded nicely and sanded, and T's moved on to the polying them. That'll make them look really good and last. While I am working on pulling out the material that I need for these slats. And I've pulled out all of these boards here, and there's some work that's going to have to be done. As you can see, there's some slight variations in thickness. That's a full 1 inch, but these are like 7/8, and that's almost 3/4. So we got to get a lot. All right, so what I've determined is I'm going to make my slats an even 18 inches all the way across for all of these. They're all at nearly the same height, except for this one has a longer skirt on it, which is okay. You know, I did some minor variations, but what we want is enough room for the pallet that's going to be on the bottom to sit there, which is going to be nearly 1 inch once I get it glued together, and then we want a couple inches clearance from underneath the skirt on all of them. And using my previous strap, this is the strap for the hold the barrel together. Hang on just a minute, and if I clamp that right there, and nope, I gotta go further. Alright, so let me see if I can do this one-handed. Almost. Alright, so there, I lined those 2 holes. So if I do that, that just fits in there. I think I'm off a hole. I think I needed to go. Come on. Come on. You know how hard it is to do this one-handed? I know you know, honey. I'm talking. Hold on. There. All right. So there we go. So I want that barrel to just sit in diameter-wise on the juice tray. And when I count all my holes all the way around, all these holes, there were 26 holes, which means I need 26 slats for this one. And the same for this one. Now this juice pan was just a little bit, I think it was a ½ inch wider is what I was able to get out of the stock. And this one is even wider. So I'm going to open it up one, I think 2 holes. I'll need 2. So what we determined, because this is one of my old templates or straps, it's an extra strap. What we determined is 26 slats, 26 slats, and 28 slats. And that adds up to 80 slats. And I'm going to need probably a couple extras because you never know. What I like to do and what I plan on doing is having a few spare parts on these things so that when our friend Old Sunny Preps comes to get this and whoever buys this gets this and I have mine, I plan to make an extra strap and a couple extra slats so that the one weak point that I determined when we were running the press quite a bit was, once the Acme thread goes through here and you be cranking it down and pressing it down were these straps, okay? And if you crank down on it hard enough, you cause that thing to spread. And it can, if you put enough pressure on it, bust a strap. And or potentially a slat or something like that. But, because you're going to have these little screws, which were those little dudes right there, are going to go through the holes in there and into the slats. So, it's a potential for you. Now, what happened when we busted them, and we only did it once, and then I made some modifications and never had a problem since, is what would happen is that strap would literally tear the metal where the hole was drilled. Okay, and there would not be an issue on the slat. It has to do with the leverage of the two pieces of metal pulling apart as the whole thing expands. You understand what I'm saying? I hope you do. So what we determined was overlapping that strap. Multiple screws helped fix that. Now, it doesn't mean that wear isn't going to take place. It could. One of the reasons I like using these straps is I do like, engineers always try and find, how should I put this, ways to control their failure points. V-belts are one thing. Bearing surfaces are another thing. What you want is when you have so much stress and you're cranking this press down and you're creating that stress, you want something that is, how should I say, not a big issue to fail. You don't want very expensive items or hard to build items or those kinds of things to fail in what you're doing. So if somebody buys one of these presses and they're like halfway across the country and they're out there one year and they're just running through pallet load after pallet load after pallet load of apples, and they're making hundreds of gallons of apple juice and they're going at it, and they get a little excited and they really crank down on that one go, oh, let's get just a little bit more juice out of it, and that thing goes pop. I want them, or whoever it is, to be able to go down to any local shipping place, find a spare piece of it. You can find this for almost near free. Literally, you can, for near free, and be able to come back and within a few minutes, take a little drill bit and go through and remake a piece. Easily fix your issue. So that's the concept. You know, most of the nice items, even though these things could have potential issues, you know, if somebody you know, damaged it somehow or another and broke it, well, guess what? You can screw this off and you can go to any woodworking shop. Anybody. You dropped it. Did you get dust on it? Well, check it out. Yeah, you did. Here, right there. And that'll be nice. That'll be nice. They look good. Don't they look good? Look at that quarter sawn red oak. Oh, it's beautiful. So, you know, I saw the ones that the Boy Scouts were using at the farmers markets up there in Montana, and they were over 100 years old. And from 100 years of wear, I could sit and, as an engineer who's been doing this kind of thing for a long time, I could see the wear points. I could see the weak points and the strong points. And in doing that, that's how I built this. Now, you know, the only way that it would really be, you know, 1,000 years strong is if you built everything in. It jumped off all at you. You know, build everything in metal, but that takes away from the craftsmanship and stuff. It's cold machinery, and this is meant to be warm homesteading products, and wood is warm. So, you know, best we can do with what we got. All right, so that's where I'm at. I'm going to have to run these two boards through the planer to get them down to an equal size all through them. Then I'm going to have to run them across the table saw and rip them out. I will set the table saw at, I believe it was 7 degrees, and then I'll flip it and cut it, and then flip it and cut it, so we get a trapezoidal piece, and you'll see that here in a bit. But hopefully that kind of brings you up to speed on a lot of the thought that goes into this. Each and every part has its own little thought process. So on that note, I don't know if we're going to get in. No, I'll tell you what, let's just do this. Let's call it quits for this portion of the video, because it's going to take me quite a bit to get this done. And she will have those done, and hopefully they will be good and dry, hanging up there. And of course the press plates. Get these polyed. I don't know where we're going to put them, and then I need to plane these and get these ripped out, sanded. These will not be polyed. They will get sanded. I do want to add one more aspect to this. And that's one of those details that people tend to have a hard time with, and that's this. All right, so T and I were at Lowe's picking up some building materials for one of the cabins here on the property. And just for the heck of it, we were down the same aisle that had all the trim work and stuff for looking at potentially getting some paneling and stuff. And I stopped and I took a look at what the FAS 0 grade red oak was at Lowe's. Now these are 1x10s, okay, 1x10s that I need for the slats, and that's good clean green with no knots. Because if you have one of these 1-inch wide knots, and 1-inch wide slats, and if you had a knot in it, the pressure on it, it's going to split. Okay, so you have to have the best, truest, cleanest grain that you can get in there. So like this piece, I'll end up there's a nice beautiful knot right there, but I'm going to cut that off right there because structurally it won't work. And the 1x8, or was it a 1x6? They do not have 1x10s. You can't get this wide stuff at Lowe's. But the 1x, I think it was an 8. It might have been a 6, but I think it was a 1x8. 8 foot. No, I'm sorry. It was a 1x6. It was 1x6. They did not have 8-footers that were that wide. They had some shorter ones that were that wide, but no 8-footers. $90 a board. $90 a board. So right here, you have about, let's see, because there's access here. A 1x10 that is 1 inch by 1x10, so I can get 9 slats out of here, and I need 18 inches on those slats. So if you do the math on that, we're now talking, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 1.5, which would be 13.5 feet, I think. 13.5 feet. Did I do that right? Real quick. I did it on camera, and I know certain professional homeowners can't even do math on camera. So, yeah. All right. So the point is this. You got essentially probably, because you can't get a 10-inch board. Can only get a 6-inch board, which isn't full 6 inches. So you need probably at least 3 of them, if I'm getting my number count, to have enough slats. With that being the case, you're talking nearly around $300, and I'm gonna guesstimate because of taxes and location and stuff like that, for all of this, and that's 3 of these press barrels. So the press barrel itself, just the slats on the press barrel itself, are going to be around $100 in wood, not including labor, time, polyurethane. Well, no, we don't poly these, but all that stuff, just the wood for that, $100. So I've told a few folks here recently, oh yeah, I've got an extra one here, I'll sell for $2,000. And jaws were hitting the ground. Okay? Understand that. Understand the quality of the wood that you need for this. Understand the value of what it costs to build the materials. This is all clear grain stuff, with the exception of a couple of things where there are a couple of, because I couldn't get away from it, cutting it out of the big tree that we had. This is not made in China, my friends. So we'll call it good for this video. So, honey, what do you say at the end of the video?
Bye.
Bye. We'll catch you when we get all this accomplished.